They say this is a big rich town.
I just come from the poet's parts. What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Moedotj, and this is Power Book 2, Episode 6. Now, Power is back on. This is the show that made me start a YouTube page and start just reviewing shows. So I'm super excited that the show is back. But before we go any further, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit your subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you can get something every time I upload. But before you watch any more, hit that like button. Let's hit a like every time we come onto a video. Just hit a like. That's all we gotta do. But hey, man, it's been a long break. Let's see what Tariq's about to get into. This is Power Book 2, Episode 6. For those of you that don't remember, Saxe and McQueen, they came together before the break to come up with a plan to get Tasha off, which will give McQueen a win, bring Tariq in and arrest Tariq for the murder, which will in return give Saxe a win, so everybody wins in this picture. So now they're meeting back up and they're discussing on what they need to do. And they're supposed to keep it low key, but my boy Davis McQueen came in here with he had the Gucci jacket on, the Montclair, like you're supposed to be keeping it low key. But what McQueen explains to Saxe is we can meet up because we're just two lawyers going over plea agreements. And if it doesn't work, that's why we end up back in court. So right now the plan is to let Tasha off and bring Tariq in. And Saxe is going to arrest Tariq. As soon as that they say that Tasha is guilty, they're arresting Tariq for the murder. Hey, it's a win-win for both sides. Tariq just talked to his mom, and she's telling him we got to trust McQueen because he's going to get me off. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get me off. They don't know that McQueen is trying to set them up to get Tariq for Saxe. All they know is McQueen's going to get him off. Tariq shows up to class early. We know this whole season he's been running around the whole city and showing up late. So he actually shows up on time to his class. Loren comes in, all the other students come in, and they pretty much have a class discussion over the book. Now everything that they're learning, it relates back to Tariq. So for this lesson is good versus evil. And they're saying that humans are naturally good. They just do evil things. So they're asking all around the class. People are agreeing with each other, disagreeing, but it never comes to Tariq to answer. But what he's doing is sitting back and listening because he used to be an innocent kid, but now this dude is super guilty. He's selling drugs. He got 2 bodies on him. This man Tariq is a wild kid, man. Someone needs to contain him. But everything that they learn in these classes is going to relate to the episode. So Tariq, he's trying to catch up with all his work. McQueen and Saxe, when they met up, they both had a list of everyone that's going to be on the jury. So they had to start picking jury off. So once the day comes for jury selection, they're already in cahoots with each other. So they go up to the judge and tell him, hey, we're going to be cordial about this. We're going to pick people out. So while they're picking people out, they're getting rid of any of the older white people because Tasha's on trial. You got to get someone that looks like us so they can actually understand what we're going through. So they're eliminating all the old people, all the older white people. They're saving all the black women because they can relate with Tasha. They're saving the black men that don't believe people should be locked up for selling drugs because that's all they have in poverty. So there's actually a doctor that's on there as a black guy, and he breaks down people living in poverty and their economic levels are lower. So that's why they sell drugs. So all of these people, Saxe and McQueen agrees on, and the judge is like, "Well, that was easy. If I'd have known it's gonna be this easy, fellas, we could have did this earlier today." But pretty much the whole jury is black people. Out of nowhere, Mr. Johnson. So I know a lot of people forgot about 2-Bit. Well, they bring 2-Bit in. They're going to use him as a witness. So McQueen's telling them, listen, I can get you out of here back on the street selling drugs by the end of the week. You don't have to snitch on nobody. I just need you to take the trial and Blanca come in here. Blanca's going to tell you exactly what you need. We're going to get you immunity. So all you have to do is get on the trial, tell us what you know about Tariq, say you don't know Tasha, Tasha doesn't have any connections, and you'll be out because they're still trying to set up Tariq. So if they can say that 2-Bit, a criminal, knew Tariq but didn't know Tasha, hey, take Tasha out of the equation, the murderer has to be Tariq because Tasha didn't have nothing to do with this. But 2-Bit, hey, he's standing strong. He ain't with none of that snitching. I'll take the trial, I'll get on stand, but I ain't doing no snitching. That ain't going down with me. After class, Tariq shows up to Lauren's room. It looks like she left something, maybe a glove or something, but he brings it to her room, her dorm room, And they're in there talking, and she starts relating back to Tariq, you didn't answer any of the questions. Are you good or are you evil? So they're flirting. And Tariq's like, what difference does it make? If I told you I'm bad, would you stop messing with me? If I told you I'm good? But matter of fact, how good are you? Now Tariq's grown up a little bit. You can hear the game, you know what I'm saying? He's over there spitting game, like, is it you? Are you good? So they get ready to kiss this close. And knock, knock, knock is Loren's, I don't even know what he is, boyfriend, the guy that the family loves. So he comes over like, hey, you forgot I was coming in this weekend? She's like, no, it's nothing like that. Tariq comes around the corner and he's like, hey, man, what are you doing here? Your name's Jamal, Jacob, or something like that? He's like, it's Tariq. And I was just handing her something that she left in class. But he tells Loren, look like you got your hands full, and he leaves. This guy ain't gonna be around long, or Tariq's gonna have to work him up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Mama Monet. Now I don't even know if we can call her mama. It's just Miss Monet. Just Monet. Monet, she's running everything. But what she's doing is she's taking Diane and she's taking Drew to go do the work. Kane wants to go, but she's like, nah, these two are lazy, they're spoiled. I gotta get them in the game. There's money to be made, and they just be sitting around just soaking it up. She takes them to the warehouse and she's showing them, hey, we need to count that money over there, we need to break that weed down and bag it up, and we need to break down that coke. But while you two little spoiled kids are doing this, give me y'all phones, get to work. This is business that we're doing here. Y'all shut up and get the business done. Monet is not playing around. You know she has to do exactly what her husband say, and she's running the organization, and she's just getting the kids in the business and ready to run it. Saxe has been having his niece Riley do some spying on Tariq, but it turned out she started dating Braden. So she's over there hanging out, and Saxe is telling her, look, I need you to stop hanging around Braden because he's around Tariq, and they could both be in some serious trouble. You already know I got you trying to spy on Tariq. Now you're tied up into it, so I need you to separate yourself, because when we start cracking down, you might be attached with it, because if you're the, you know what I'm saying, if you're the girlfriend of Braden who's slanging drugs, then you going down too. So he's trying to keep Riley away from all of it, and she's like, nah, that's my boyfriend, I'm staying there. But you can tell I'll still work for you to figure out some stuff on Tariq, but I'm still gonna see my boyfriend, and that's his roommate, so that's just it, Saxe. And Saxe is like, I need you to just cut that shit out now. It wouldn't be a power episode if we didn't have a dilemma in it. Braden's drugs were stolen by his older brother. His older brother comes in the room and Braden's like, hey, where's my stuff at, bro? And his brother says, oh man, you know, I took it to the fraternity, man. They wanted to get towed up, and I supplied them all. And Braden's like, hey, I gotta get that money back. So brothers, they start fighting, you know what I'm saying? And out of nowhere, Kane comes in looking for Tariq because he gotta get that money. We on a tight schedule. The money ain't there because the drugs are stolen by the older brother. So Kane breaks the fight up, pulls a gun on him, and tells him, hey, y'all coming with me. I don't care what y'all doing, y'all coming with me. And Braden's trying to explain to him, hey man, we work together. We work together. Me, you, Tariq, we. And Kane's like, your name, you don't know me and my name is in your mouth? Oh yeah, y'all rolling with me. Come on, let's go. It's never over. It's never over. Drew and Diane are breaking down weed, breaking down coke, counting up money. And Everett, the basketball player that Drew's infatuated with, keeps texting him, talking about, hey man, come through, man. I want to see you, man. I want to make up for it. And Diane's like, hey man, you can't go over there, bro. Diana's like, if Monet knows you're gone and she told us to leave our phones alone, we gonna be in big trouble. But Drew, a knucklehead, you know what I'm saying, part of the crew, he like, man, forget this, man. Hey, cover for me. I gotta get up out of here. I gotta go see what Everett is talking about. Man, if y'all don't make this money for your mama and then go have fun, kids, they'll never learn. Here we go. The drama's starting to add up. Kane's kidnapped Braden. Riley's came to Braden and Tariq's dorm room. They're trying to find Braden. Like, where's he at? You could tell like the little fight or something happened. But when Tariq gets there, Riley's already in there and she's looking through all his stuff. So he's kind of like, why are you on my side looking for notes? Why don't you call Braden? They call Braden, but Braden's phone is right here by the chess table. Now, the reason I picked this picture is because when Tariq and Braden were playing chess, he was telling them all the chess pieces. Who's the king, who's the rook, who's the knight. But if something goes wrong, you gotta wipe the board of everybody. Before Braden left, he couldn't bring his phone. But what he left was a message for Tariq. And the message was, he knocked over the chess pieces. A lot of people ain't noticed that, but that's what that is. He knocked over the chess pieces to let Tariq know, hey, there's some trouble going down. I might have to knock over the chess pieces. Just a little, just a little information a couple of people haven't seen or actually noticed what that was for. Kane kidnapped the Weston brothers, but what he did was take them to Queens, and since they didn't have the money for the drugs that was supposed to be in the room, he put them on the corner. You two are corner boys. He puts them both on their own corners. Braden actually makes it work. So he walks up to a group of guys. He starts smoking some weed, telling them I ain't got no phone and stuff. Let them smoke with him. He's networking. But his brother, he can't do that. He's just on the street and he's scared. But Braden, he meets these people. He's like smoking some weed with them. And he's like, if y'all want to buy some, I got some. So they make a few calls. Now Braden's on the block supplying everybody. His brother ain't making no money, but Braden is on the block. While all this chaos and commotion is going on, Drew's over at Everett's dorm room. And these two young men, they end up, making up for the little disgruntled, oh, I don't know you at the party thing, and they end up doing what they do. All the while they're doing this, they get a knock on the door, and Everett gets a tutor package. Which in this tutor package is, you guessed it, Tariq's drugs, the $250, the big bundle where you get the pills and you get a study guide. So Drew's looking at this like, dang, you're taking drugs, but why is my mom's package on here? This got to be Tariq's work because he's the only person we're working with up here. Oh man, it's getting out of control at this school. Now Riley and Tariq, they're in the room still trying to figure out where Braden is, but Riley's still working for her uncle. So she's like, has Braden ever stayed out late? What do you guys do? She's just asking all these questions, and Tariq is looking at her like, I don't really trust you. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't really answering anything. He's like, man, Braden stayed out maybe twice, but the 2 times he did, he stayed out with you. They still haven't heard back from him, and Riley, she just nosy, trying to ask questions. She's just stalling, just staying in the room. But Tariq ain't falling for it, so that's a good thing for Tariq right there. He ain't slip up and say anything he wasn't supposed to say. Monet finds out Drew is gone. She tells Diana, y'all got 2 hours. Get your ass home. So Diana goes back to the school. She stops by Everett's room and she's talking to Drew like, hey, you need to get your ass home. You know Monet gonna kill us. And then Drew's like, hey, we shouldn't tell Monet about what's going on here. And he shows her the study guide thing. So he's like, she tells him, hey, you got 2 hours to get to the house. I got to make a stop. That stop is at Tariq's room. When she gets there, when she knocks on the door, Tariq doesn't let her come in. He actually comes out and talks to her. Now, the first thing she's thinking is, oh, you got that bougie girl Loren in there. He's like, nah, man, you got to trust me. I don't have her in there. And we not doing anything. So she shows him the student guide. And he's like, hey, don't show nobody that. And for her, she's low-key kind of hurt because Tariq isn't feeling her the way she thinks he is. But I mean, he is, but also you got to handle business first. So he tells her, don't tell Monet about the student package and how we moving to work. But she's like, nah, I'm going to tell her. And the reason she said that is because she's kind of hurt about Tariq. And she thinks Tariq has somebody in there because you hear Tariq's phone drop on the ground. The reason the phone dropped on the ground is because Riley, in the room, hears his phone go off, picks it up, takes a picture of it, and sends it to SAC. So now they see one more person of who's Tariq involved with. Oh my God, it's a lot of stuff going on, but Tariq can never get right. Kane came back, picked up the Weston brothers. They get in the car, they're driving off. The older brother ends up getting beat up. Braden comes out and saves him. Braden makes a lot of money for Kane, but as they're driving off, Monet's boyfriend, Ramirez, pulls up and stops him. He makes Braden and his brother get out and go to the car so he can talk to Kane. And what he's pretty much telling Kane is like, hey, you got to chill, bro. Whatever you're doing out here is bad. We don't work for Monet. I don't work for you. We all work for your dad. That's it. So you need to, get this thing on the leash, and you're going to draw a lot of attention to us. You got these white boys in Queens selling weed on the corner. Ramirez gets back in the car with Braden and them. He's talking to him. And what he says is, and this is interesting, hey, fellas, I should be arresting you, but what we can do is act like none of this ever happened. I take y'all home. I don't charge y'all with anything. And we just wipe our hands with it. And Braden is like, all right, that's what we gonna do. And he pretty much has to check his brother and tell him, hey, shut up. We ain't saying nothing. Kane ain't gonna come back. Just don't say nothing else. We good. This might be the wrong direction for Braden. So Braden comes back finally after Kane drops him off, and he's telling Tariq, hey, bro, I was out on that corner. Whew, they loved me out there. It was an adrenaline rush for him. So for him, we're watching him turn into Tommy. That drug life that was for him on the block, slanking, all the people respecting him. He making money. So we watching him turn into Tommy right now. Now Riley's out in the hall, and she's like, hey, come stay tonight with me. So while she's out there talking, she's out there, the boys are in here talking about what's going on. And they're like, hey, we got to get this under control, man. Kane is tripping. But Tariq's like, hey, we got it, man. We just got to keep it on the low. Don't do anything else. But Braden is loving it. Braden is loving slanging that on the block, making that money. The new Tommy. It's trial day. Too Big, come and take the stand. While he's on the stand, Sax is questioning him. Sax is asking him, hey, did you know a Tommy Egan, a.k.a. Ghost? Too Big's like, nah, I don't know who Ghost is, and that sounds silly. Ghost crew. Sax shows him a picture of Tommy. He looks at it and he's like, nah, never seen him, don't know who he is. Sax then says, hey, Agent Blanco arrested you at a warehouse, a distribution center. And what he says is, nah, that was a crooked cop. She set me up, said it was a job interview, and when I got there, they arrested me, and now here I am. So I don't know anything about that. I was set up by a crooked cop. Sax then says, you know you have to answer these questions on the oath. Too Big tells him the law, like, no, I don't. All I have to do is answer these questions to the best of my ability. You pretty much gave me immunity. After this, Sax can't say anything else. McQueen comes up and cross-examines him, and he asks him, do you think a female can run this drug organization? Too Big's like, nah. He's like, I never met James St. Patrick. I never met Tasha St. Patrick, but I did meet their son. They're like, their son? Who, Tariq? He says, yeah, I took him home because he was lost. So pretty much what they just did was have him say Tasha had no connections with anything, say he didn't know Tommy, didn't know Ghost. The only person he knew was Tariq, and he took Tariq home. So Tariq was involved with some bad people. Tasha ain't had nothing to do with it. This is getting Tasha off the case, but building up the case for Tariq to be the murderer. Too Big said he wasn't going to snitch, and my boy got out of jail too. There's a lot going on up under Monet's roof. Diane comes back and tells her about Tariq and how he's running it, and she's trying to tell Monet to stop it, but Monet's like, look, this is business. Don't be involved with Tariq more than just business. She asked her, did he take her virginity? Did he have sex? She's like, nah, none of that happened. Monet's like, good. Don't be involved with him. Kane comes home and he's like, hey, all this stuff we doing is wrong. And he just starts going off on Monet, talking about this is my daddy house. You don't run nothing, dad does. He loses his cool. Diane, they come down like, hey, Kane, chill. They grab on him. He pushes Diane off. Monet tries to grab him and he pushes her to the ground. He then reaches his hand out to try to pick her up and she slaps his hand and he leaves. Pretty much, Kane is overstepping his boundaries. We know you want to be the man, but Monet is running this, bro. You got to just chill. You a soldier. This household is falling apart, man. After all that, Kane goes and meets with his dad. And what he's telling his dad is, hey, you gotta check Monet, man. She's out here, she's wilding out, she ain't doing things right. And all his dad tells him pretty much is like, listen, swinging on her is like swinging on me. While I'm in here, she is me on the outside. She's gonna run things, you're my soldier. Watch how she runs things and learn how to run it so when you're in charge next, you know how to run things smoothly. Kane, he agrees with it because this is dad. He's like, all right, thanks, dad. I agree with that. You just gotta follow the chain of command. You know your mom's in charge. You don't hit your mom. You don't push your mom down. Kane just lost his cool. Before Kane leaves, the officers, they take him into a little room before he exits. Kane looks up, the camera turns off, all of the guards turn on him, and Kane knows it's a setup now. They start whooping on him. And then in comes his dad, and his dad tells him, listen, you don't ever hit your mom, you don't ever hit my wife again. Pretty much let Kane know, you can act tough, you can be all this, but I can get you touched. In here, outside, don't touch Monet. Monet is me while I'm in here. Kane learned the hard way. To end the episode, Tasha's talking to Tariq like, hey, do you know about 2-Bit? Do you know this guy? And Tariq's like, yeah, I think he worked with Tommy. And they pretty much brought him in on stand and said he didn't know anything about me, but he mentioned you. So Tariq's like, oh, man, everything should be good. McLean is calling Sachs like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? We got this on the road. Do you got your part? Because Sachs is on the federal side, so he wants to be able to get the federal charges dropped on 2-Bit. So Sachs, he ain't answering because he's under pressure because he's looking bad in the Tasha case. But they don't know that he's going to get Tariq after that, the big fish. So now we got all this going on. Ramirez, he's pulling up on Monet like, hey, you got to control Kane. Because Kane is acting wild out here. You lucky you know me. Because if not, things are going to be messed up. They're going to be messed up. Man, it's getting too crazy for everybody right now. And there you go, episode 7 of Power Book 2. Comment below, what do you think is going to happen with Kane? Is he exiled or is he still going to be working with his mom and like, you know what I'm saying, being just, I'm sorry. Let me know below, comment below. But hey, thanks for watching. I'm Moedotj. This is episode 7. Episode 6. I apologize. We'll be back for episode 7 next week. If you like the content, man, please hit that like button, subscribe, share, do all that. Thanks for watching. We on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Hey, I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.